Let's go on and study 3 more seed truths in Genesis chapter 3. The 5th truth is Satan will put doubts in our mind. The serpent said to Eve, "You won't die. Surely you won't die." This is just sowing that doubt. She was clear. She said, "If we eat it, we will die." No, don't believe that. Are you sure? Right? So this is what often we have this kind of doubts thrown at us. Starting in Genesis 1, these doubts were thrown at Bible scholars. Are you sure God can make this amazing world in just 6 days? Are you sure? Are you sure they are literal days? All throughout church history, people believe they were literal days. Why? Because God put a stamp at the end of every day and said, evening and morning were the first day. Evening and morning were the second day. Now, that stamp is saying this is a literal, normal day. Not an era, not a period, right? Not a zillion years. It has an evening and a morning. No million years or 10 years or 5 years is an evening and morning, which is the evening, which is the morning. But doubts are like that put in, and then all of a sudden people say, I wonder whether God really meant a literal day, right? So we have all kinds of questions thrown at us to make us wonder whether a verse, people say, are you sure this verse actually means that? Now for years we read it and it's like clear as daylight, it's like obvious, you don't need a PhD for that. But often when the doubt is sown, then we start to look for some reason why that verse cannot be so. So be careful when doubts are sown. That's the 5th seed truth. Let's look at the 6th one. Satan said, you know what? Frankly, if you eat it, your eyes, you will be like gods, and your eyes will be opened. The irony of it was, if Eve was not so easily flattered, because that statement, "you'll be like gods," is really a very flattering statement, but Eve could easily have answered, "We are made in the image of God, in His likeness." What do you mean we will be like gods? Excuse me, if it was Adam, there was a possibility he would say, "What? I heard we were made in the image of God." But Eve, maybe being flattered, maybe saw this pleasant creature, friendly, seems very reasonable, talking to her, and she bought that. And he said, then you will know, your eyes will be open, and you will know good and evil. You see, God had made us man in His image, except for the fact that He makes the rules. Okay, obviously every man can make rules, then there will be no rules, right? So we were made in His image in many ways, except we're not allowed to make rules. We can't create, we can't make rules, right? Because we are tenants on His land. The landlord makes the rules, so one of his rules is don't eat the fruit. Fair enough, you go to a hotel, you're told you can make all the noise you like, but at 11 o'clock, please keep quiet, and you keep quiet. If not, hotel management will expel you from the hotel. And later Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden. Makes sense, right? Now, he said, your eyes will be open and you know good from evil. You see, God knew that. He had to make the rules, okay? Because He didn't put in man that capacity to know clearly what is good and what is evil. So He had to make the rules. That wasn't part of our creative DNA. Even up to today, we make pretty bad rules, All the laws we make have loopholes and all kinds of problems, and we make rules that are not good for us, okay? So she was tempted, wow, I'm like God and I can make my own rules. Isn't that nice? Okay, I can even be more than what I am. Yeah, all of us like to make our own rules. Who doesn't? Right? Because that's our ego saying, I'm smart enough. I know what I'm doing. Even a child will tell his parents, don't tell me what to do. I know, Mom. I'm not stupid. Right? So even a child thinks he knows enough. Okay? So Eve decided. So that's another seed truth that we will have to look at, that the flattery worked and Eve loves to make her own rules, and so do we. Seventh seed truth is that in Genesis chapter 3 verse 6, the woman looked at the fruit and said, wow, looks delicious. He looks the shape of the fruit and says, wow, it was pleasant to her eyes. Not only delicious, but beautiful. We don't like fruits that are not only nice tasting, but nice, like a juicy plum or a peach, the pinky color. Whoa, like food has to not only taste good, it has to look beautiful too. And more than that, you said, wow, if I eat of this, I will be wise like God. Aha. So 3 things. We are told in 1 John chapter 2 verse 16, the lust of the eyes, be careful of this, the lust of the eyes, the lust for food, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. All right, so be careful, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Let's look at these 3 common sins. Lust of the flesh. If we give ourselves the luxury to make our own rules, we'll sleep all day. We don't even want to get up. Just hang around, lie down. We'll eat all we want to eat. And then we have sex, the ultimate of the man of the flesh. Just sleep, eat, and have sex. Now, all these are not wrong. These are God-given. Enjoying food, that's God-given. Rest is God-given. Sex within the bounds of marriage is God-given. Nothing wrong, but God teaches us the rules for all these things. Gluttony, be careful, right? So we have people who, for example, the lust of the eyes. Some people are just always going to the newest site, have to go to the newest mountain, have to go to the strangest country just to see something, just have to see. After they see that, they have to see something else. And then when they're home, they have to look at Instagram of every interesting thing. The lust of the eye cannot be satisfied. The eye has 2 little balls, but you cannot really satisfy them. The stomach, after a while, you get full, right? The lust of the eye, very hard to fill. You can just keep 24/7. You can see new images on your Instagram, and of course the pride of life, the ego that man has. Now, ambition is not wrong. To want to be good is not wrong. But if God made us to be number 100 in the world, don't be happy that you can be number 100. That's your ambition. Be what you want to be. Be the best you can be. You don't then have to cheat and sabotage people to be, instead of number 100, number 1 or number 50. Okay? So be careful of the lust of the flesh. Gluttonies. Now, modern sin, when you see cook shows become number 1 shows, we are already in trouble. Eating and thinking of newer and better and crazier food, right? Then the lust of the eyes. Endless sights cannot satisfy. And then finally, the pride of life. Everything you want to be number 1 at any cost. Families broken, everything. I need to be number 1. Otherwise, my ego cannot handle that. So be careful of this. I hope these seed truths will help you. 7 seed truths that we have already seen.